Real estate projects are getting more and more complex to handle than ever before. Projects are becoming larger, there are more teams involved, and there's increasing pressure on driving project IRR and bottom lines. Yet we discover that the critical project inputs and data lives across different tools, systems, and spreadsheets. A lot of times these tools are not well connected with each other. We've often seen that getting critical project inputs from, say, a different team or a consultant takes sometimes hours, sometimes days, with a lot of back and forth on meetings, calls, emails, and a lot of software downloads roaming around in meetings and emails, right? So why should it be so difficult? Introducing Lattice from Proplens. We're bringing to you your control panel for property development. So one system of intelligence that connects the dots across your different teams, data, and workflows. So the central piece for in Lattice is basically the development overview. So here you can see a single snapshot of all your projects or any of your specific projects. So typically you can look at the overall KPIs with respect to sales, leasing, budget utilization, site progress, collections if you're doing residential, this project completion, and many more metrics that you can custom add, right? And then there's key insights where AI actually looks into your different projects, picks up the key data points that you need to see at a snapshot level across. Then you have your own AI coworkers for each of these sections that we have at Lattice. So let's say, here you go. So this data could be presented in two different places. So for example, your sales data could come from CRM, your financial data could come from some spreadsheet or Google Docs, and then eventually you're getting, detailed calculation for the response that's coming from the AI coworker. An interesting section that we have over here is historical insights. So a lot of times we don't aggregate or we don't look back at our past projects that we did. There's a lot of learning to take from that, but then the learnings actually typically dissipate whenever the previous projects team get disbanded. So let's say that we go ahead and ask for a specific project. So what lessons did we learn, or get some numbers for the project. There you go. So there's calculations that digs into the past projects. So you could kind of query across projects. You could query specific projects, try and surface learnings. The other interesting piece that we typically hear from project managers is managing risk. So how can AI actually again look across your structured and unstructured data and then surface key risks that are detrimental to your project's margins or could cost time or cost overruns, basically, right? So you could even query on the risk that exists across projects, the mitigation plan, and then you have a department-wide, department-specific AI co-workers, right? So you could look at project financials. Again, so you could look at each of the projects. What's the cost to complete? What's the capital employed? Insights are generated on the fly depending on the data that exists today or this week. You again kind of have a dedicated AI coworker to kind of walk you through the details. You have project pre-sales, so this could be pre-sales if it's residential. This could be leasing data if you're building a commercial asset. So you get snapshot again to say, what's the velocity of sales in each of your projects? What are the challenges that you're finding across each? Similarly, you have collections, which again is from a residential asset standpoint. What's your cancellation rate? What's the cancellation reasons and all of that? Procurement, typically contracts team find it extremely difficult to kind of triage between the RFPs, POs, and billing data. So all of that happens over here. What's the contract value? What's happening over here? So let's say you could ask the specific AI coworker to. Here you go. So it kind of picks up the response dates, awarded vendor, so a bunch of data, and then with mapped RFP where identifiable. So yeah. So similarly, you have for costing data, costing and budgeting. What is the project financial health over here? Cost efficiencies. There's site progress in terms of the number of activities vis-a-vis the schedule. Yeah, how many activities are tracked, and then your contractor billing again, right? So triaging all of these things is where the real value is, where it's not just function specific, but then these agents have access to data of adjacent departments as well, basically, right? That's just a quick overview here.